Since Trump signed the U.S. Holding Foreign Companies Accountable Act 4, HFCAA, into law in December 2020, resistance to Chinese companies listing in the United States has increased. Washington has been using this law for the past 2 years to intimidate U.S.-listed Chinese stocks with a delisting timetable. Some have politicized the capital market regulation and even pushed for financial decoupling between the two countries. The law has created noise and cast a shadow over Sino-U.S. cooperation.
House of Representatives passing a bill that would prevent Chinese companies from trading on Wall Street unless they comply with audit oversight rules.
Meanwhile, the Chinese firm's delisting from the world's richest stock exchange is finally happening.
Dual-listed Chinese companies saw yesterday, this was happening, they fell sharply overnight after fears re-emerged of potential delisting in the United States. Eunice Yoon joins us now as well.
By the end of July, there were 261 Chinese companies listed in the U.S. Among them, the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission had put 159 China concept stocks on its delisting watch list. In mid-August, 5 Chinese state-owned companies, China Life Insurance, PetroChina, Sinopec, Aluminum Corporation of China and Sinopec, Shanghai Petrochemical, announced they will voluntarily delist from the New York Stock Exchange.
5 of China's largest state-owned companies planning to delist from U.S. exchanges. The two countries at odds over allowing American regulators to inspect audits of Chinese businesses.
And the main reason is the requirement for Chinese companies listed in the U.S. to hand over audit documents. Since companies like PetroChina and Sinopec are among China's national-level strategic enterprises, it is unlikely that they will hand over all their internal audit documents to the U.S. side, so that the latter can have access to everything inside the company. This involves China's national security. But the thing is, once Chinese stocks are forced to delist from the U.S. market, China will not be the only one whose interests are hurt. On August 26, the important step taken for China-U.S. cross-border regulatory cooperation. China Securities Regulatory Commission and Ministry of Finance signed an audit oversight cooperation agreement with the U.S. Public Company Accounting Oversight Board. As soon as this news came out, the Chinese stocks in the U.S. market surged in response, which showed real attitude of the market and public opinion on bilateral ties. The Audit Oversight Cooperation Agreement reached on August 26 shows that the two sides are able to negotiate and find a rational and pragmatic solution. It can be seen from this cooperation that the U.S. needs to strengthen corporate supervision, and China needs to safeguard national security. This is not an either or zero-sum game, but a path to cooperation can be found.
The first thing we have to recognize is that China's not going away. We're not going away. And we have to coexist. We have to figure out a way of coexisting instead of just throwing out tactics that continue to make the relationship more antagonistic.
Yeah, 100%. We had a great agreement, a first step for audit reviews to take place in China. And that would stave off a potential delisting of U.S. listed China ADRs, which put, almost $2 trillion of U.S. savers' wealth at risk. So a great first step, certainly, as the SEC stated, the proof will be in the pudding. So we need to see these audit reviews take place, and hopefully the companies pass as we anticipate they will.
The agreement between China and the United States has added some warmth to the icy relations between the two countries. As long as China and the United States adhere to the principle of mutual benefit, we can find solutions on some key sensitive issues and address each other's concerns.